Nathaniel, here's your old axle, and I was out here looking at your spring plates and U-bolts, and then it hit me that these are not going to work, and the new rear axle did not come with them. It's got a 4-inch tube on it, and these are 3-inch tubes. So I've been calling around. Nobody has these plates. The U-bolts I can get, but and I also need the spring hanger brackets. The old ones, the rubber's all bad in them, and they look horrible. So I'm gonna take a trip to a friend of mine's salvage yard, Rawls and Sons Auto Salvage, and see what we can find. We might luck out. I'm gonna take some penetrating lube, breaker bars, and it'll be a pain to get these off in a salvage yard. But let's take a trip and see what we can do about finding some U-bolt spring plates and rear spring hangers. What did I do for you? I had to come out here to the salvage yard and locate some spring plates for your U-bolts. Yours didn't come with the axle. You got a big 4-inch tube axle, so it's really hard to find. But I have found this F350 sitting here that has a set on it. So I'm going to yank these off, and hopefully they'll come off easy, but they look rough. So I brought my penetrating oil, my pry bar extension, and get these babies off here. All right, here's what I'm dealing with. There's your spring hangers, or your spring plates, and the other one right there, and they look a little bit rough. Turned out to be a great trip to the salvage yard. I got these U-bolts off a F350 Ford 4-inch. I'll clean these up and paint them. Got the nuts for it as well. These hangers come off a newer Ford truck. The rubber's real good in them. They're a little more heavier duty than the ones we had, so I'm tickled with that. And I got these real nice spring plates off that same F350. So good score at the salvage yard. So let's get this stuff cleaned up and painted. All right, Nathaniel. Now I've got your frame painted, your axle set in place. I'm gonna go ahead and tear this down completely, because all I need is I don't need any of this stuff on the end on there, and we got to redo it. I don't need any of the stuff on the other end, because we're gonna redo all of it. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull this cover to make sure I've got a 410 gear to match the rear. So let me blow this thing apart, and then we'll put it in there, and I'll put my wedges on there and clamp this in place. It's going to make it a lot easier to deal with all that off of it. Well, I'm getting it tore down. It's a good thing we tore it down, because both of the nuts that hold the wheel bearings on were loose. The outer nut and the inner nut extremely loose. And then these here, I just got done getting these loose, and it took forever to get these off. I mean, they were horrible. And that's your backing plate, and that's all that's left of it. So I'm going to go ahead and yank these axles out. Go ahead and yank these off and the steering bar off. I'll pull the cover on it, and that's going to make me a lot easier to deal with setting up your caster angle. But I am glad we took this apart. And those bearings that rattle on those axles right there, they need to be changed. But boy, it was brutal getting that off. I mean, absolutely brutal getting those off. Here she is. You want me to take it down? So she's all the way down. It's going to make it a lot easier to deal with, a lot easier to set that caster angle. And inside here, I did check my gears. It is a 410 gear. Got an open spool there, so that's going to work out perfect. All the gears look pretty good. All feels pretty tight. So there she is. It's another big step in the Bronco build here. I'm taking the frame off the rotisserie, putting it on stands. We've got the rear end sitting there. Fixing to set the rear end up under it. Some of the front end stuff up under it. I'm about to pull the motor off of the transmission, put it on a stand, and do the oil pan and paint work and all to that. So we're starting to put this thing together. So I'm going to yank this thing off the rotisserie finally and get this rotisserie put up and out of the way, because it's just huge with the rotisserie on it. Takes up a lot of room. So let's get her placed to the stands and off this rotisserie.